Now, when you travel on an aeroplane, if there is an incident of low cabin pressure, the flight attendant will instruct you to put your own oxygen mask on first before you try and help others. Now, the reason for this is that if you try and help someone else get their mask on before you put yours on, there is a possibility that you could both pass out from a lack of oxygen. If, however, you put your mask on first, then you are able to focus on helping others who may need your help when you can breathe. Now, this oxygen mask analogy is often floated about a lot when noting the importance of self-care or prioritizing one's well-being in a relationship. But is there a danger in taking this too far? Or, on the other hand, perhaps, going the other way in marriage and playing the martyr, laying one's life down completely and expecting the other person to do the same? Well, this morning we have the pleasure of being joined by Vainant Jacobs from Family Life New Zealand to talk about this and bust another marriage myth. Good morning, Vainant.
Morning, Vainant.
Kia ora. Good morning, Kat. Good morning, Tom.
Well, it's great to have you back on the show with us as we continue to look at some of these myths around marriage. So what exactly are we looking at today?
Yeah, great. Great intro there, Kat, because the myth we're talking about today is the one that says, everything I do it for you. Yeah, right.
Well, I'm actually hearing a Bryan Adams song right now.
Come on.
You're playing
Let me get this straight. So marriage is not exactly like that. We're not doing everything for the other person, but then are we doing everything for ourselves? How do we get that balance right?
Yeah, that's right. It's all, some people like the word balance. I think of balance as walking on a tightrope and trying to maintain your balance. But some people actually like to use the word healthy tension, just keeping the tension between the two. And it's not necessarily the one that it needs to be all about self-care, but it's also not being a martyr. The thing is, when we get married, we're all starry-eyed and we do say, yeah, everything I do for you and I'll do this thing. But the reality is we have a natural tendency towards being self-centered and selfish. When I wake up in the morning, I think about what my schedule for the day looks like. I think about my morning coffee. I think about my morning time, how I slept. Like, we are just wired to think about ourselves. So at our weekends, remember, we often tell couples, turn to your spouse and then tell them, you are the second most selfish person I know. Why? Because who's more selfish? I am. But there's a tendency to actually allow that self-centered behavior to take priority in our relationship, and that actually causes a divide in the marriage.
Why do you think we are wired this way, to focus on ourselves so much?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We, as we grow up as kids, it's all about our needs, and the parents are always looking out for our needs. We cry, the parents help satisfy it. So that's just, that's sort of a natural human thing. It's part of the, I guess, human experience, if you will. But the goal with marriage, is marriage oneness, where you leave your identity as an individual and you actually join in a new thing. The Bible talks about marriage being a mystery, but this mystery actually reflects our union with Christ. And the scripture that actually comes up in context to this was Jesus saying, if anybody wishes to be my disciple, you must deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. And the reality is, the journey of oneness in marriage is a journey of denying our own selfish behaviors to actually prioritize our oneness as a couple. And that's a journey of slowly actually dying to self, denying ourselves in that sense. But there's so much beautiful fruit that comes from that journey, because at the end of the day, that is the Christ walk. That is the journey of following Christ, being a disciple. And that is the journey we get to emulate in marriage.
I guess the real challenge is, though, if we're in that space where we're dying to oneself, but we can't just expect, like, I'm laying my life down, why are you not dying to yourself?
Yeah, that's right. That's why we say marriage, and that's the other myth we talked about, the 50-50 one. So if our listeners haven't heard that, they can check that out on our channel. So marriage isn't 50-50, it's 100. So it's 100-100. You give 100 without expecting a return. The return you get is often the fruit of giving, of showing love, of demonstrating that love to each other. Look, it's a commitment. Marriage isn't for the faint-hearted, as they say, but the rewards are beautiful. And it's only through this journey of following Christ in marriage and in discipleship that we actually get to demonstrate his love to a world that desperately needs it, and often a family that also desperately needs it.
Okay, so people are listening in, and look, they may well have learned this lesson the hard way through their journey, but others might be going, oh, look, it's challenging, but, things are not well in terms of our marriage, and perhaps I need to consider this balance, that perhaps there's been a little bit too much focus on self. So what are some practical steps, just as we come to a close, that maybe people in that position might be able to wrestle with and just change the focus of their marriage a little bit?
Yeah, look, most people, and I'm included in that, most people, it's a constant struggle. And I guess that's why, Jesus says daily, follow me daily. But there's 4 steps, I guess, really practically to help overcome, selfishness or any pattern, that we've become entrenched in that we want to change. And that's, I'll give you the 4 and I'll elaborate on them briefly. It's awareness, 1, coming clean, commitment, and then taking action. So awareness, you need to recognize that you've got a tendency towards selfishness, and that is the first step. And then come clean. I think acknowledging this tendency towards our spouse will help heal a lot of the hurt that we've caused by it. So just having that conversation, acknowledging. Third, what are you committing to do? Don't stop at acknowledging I had selfish tendencies, or I tend to be selfish, but I want to change. This is what I want to do instead. And then 4th is take action. No idea or no commitment without solid action behind it. Actions speak louder than words, will amount to any amount of change. And look, don't expect immediate change from your spouse either. It's about laying down your life, following Christ in your part of that journey, and then allowing the fruit to be cultivated over time.
And as you say, it's a challenge that exists all through our journey, our marriage journey, isn't it? It's a daily challenge. So you can find out more, Family Life New Zealand's online at familylife.nz.